Alright, so by popular demand, we are doing Steven Universe. A lot of people have asked us to.
Oh, I
do
thought we were
voice of the
doing
show.
Arrow.
Nope, Steven Universe.
Not the Flash. Alright, Steven's Universe.
We're doing our
Couldn't we even Steven's Universe?
It's just, I love for Shia LaBeouf to go back and just like green screen it, like just, or maybe someone
Hey,
takes
wait.
the green screen and like puts it against.
Are we
that.
sure that's not Shia LaBeouf?
No, he's way too happy and positive. This is our first episode, Laser Light Cannon. You want to start?
Well, billions of years ago, the Earth was a molten mass.
Actually, for all we
And-
know, maybe the story does start off like that. No, this.
Okay, so as far as I can tell, I'm gonna preface this with, I know nothing about this show apart from the fact that I saw literally a handful of episodes, and I mean 3 or 4, somewhere in the middle, and they're only 15 minutes each.
I'm
less
not
than
convinced
that,
that's
so-
what we didn't just see. Just something somewhere in the middle.
So, I don't know anybody's names. I don't know jack squat.
I'm sure
except-
you'll correct us.
I'm telling you now. Like, I would rather go into a show blind, like most people do when they start off from the beginning. So, I don't know jack shit about Steven Universe.
I'm not sure how much more we've learned watching this one.
Well, that's what I'm going to get at, because I'm not going to be mentioning a whole bunch of names yet, because I don't know them, apart from Steven. So, yeah, don't flip the fuck out. But as far as I can tell, there's this kind of roly-poly kid named Steven who looks kind of like Jay Sherman's son from The Critic.
Oh, yeah.
Crossed with a little bit of
Actually.
even Steven Shia LaBeouf, with sort of a Mabel shirt is the only way I can describe it, from Gravity Falls. And he is hanging out with 3 women of indeterminate age, but they seem to be definitely grown adults, of various different body types and races and sizes and what have you, who all seem very friendly when they discover there is a giant Death Star thing coming down from the sky, and they're like, "Oh my God, Steven, we gotta do something about this!" And so Steven's like, "I don't know what we're gonna do," but it had something to do with, I'm gonna go find my dad. And so he finds his dad, who looks kind of like Carl's cousin. From Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Yeah, I almost expected him to sound a little like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing there?" Oh, that's
Definitely have the
great."
same personality. Maybe a little bit of the loser.
Yeah.
But, you know, not
Definitely
really.
not
He's
same
nice.
personality. Definitely likes to get sunburned, though. Maybe is in this case literally a redneck. And Steven explains to him that, yeah, there's all this shit that's gonna fall from the sky. We have to find some way to solve. And he's like, "Well, we can look in my, was it the garage or the basement?
Storage.
Storage room. We can look in my storage room and see if we can find anything." So he goes searching in the storage room, and my favorite line in the whole show is like, "Wow, it's like a dad museum in here."
It was funny that you were
Um,
really taken by that line, too, because I was just like, yeah, it's a really good line.
The funny thing is, I was thinking about it, I'm like, what a great, I was like, just what a great image, what a great way to say that. Now whenever I, like, go through my dad's junk or
Yeah, I've
something.
got a big dad
like,
museum.
Yeah, go when we, like, if we need to pick stuff up out of the crawl space, we still have some old props down there, but he's got a whole bunch of his stuff. And I'm just gonna think, wow, it's like a dad museum.
Yeah, no, I love that line, too.
So eventually he finds this, and they have like this conversation where he reveals that, well, we already know he's his father, but he reveals that at one point there was this magical woman who must have bonked him, and therefore there came Steven, but in order for this strange union to happen, she had to give up her physical form. I couldn't make this up if I tried.
No.
Had to give up her physical form, and so Steven's left. I'm assuming the mother's gone. He accidentally steps on an image of the mother. She looks very pretty with pink hair or whatever. She looks like she could be related to the other 3 women who were on the beach, but that's beside the point at the moment. Anyway, picks up some sort of cannon-y type thing, brings it back. Meanwhile, they've been launching the biggest girl into the Death Eye again and again, and she keeps washing him back on shore. In the background, this happening. He's like, "Aye, thunk." Splashford. Splashford.
Yes.
Okay. But anyway, so he has this. He and his dad, Steven and his dad, have this thing about you know what happens to.
Really? They said it like 5 times. I can't remember what it was.
I'm telling this whole fucking story from the beginning, and you're gonna yell at me about that? You say it then!
Whenever I did my recaps on Adventure Time, I got all the names, all the characters, every little element totally right.
You sent me into
Totally
this blind.
disgraceful.
They knew we were coming! They have the list!
you read me?
The envelope
is in the open.
The envelope is in the open! Okay, what was it then? Because I'm remembering the
If
whole
every-
fucking story for you because you don't remember jack shit!
If every pork chop was perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs.
Exactly. Says that thing. Turns out that they're trying to rub Steven up against the cannon because Steven has some magic gem on him or something that...
His belly button, I think.
Yeah, in his belly button, because he's just like the Japanese super powerful magic kids. He's just one of those magic
It's like
boys.
those little trolls from
Yeah.
the 90s. Remember they had the little...
Yeah. Well, and then he's the son of some magical woman, so they're all born with gems, I guess, in their belly. I don't know. So they're rubbing against the cannon, and that was weird. But finally they say...
How'd that motion go again?
Finally they say
Somebody
the phrase...
take that out of context. Make a gif or something.
I fucking hate you. I'm doing this for you, you know.
You're doing it for them.
It activates the cannon, which blows up the Death Eye. And so therefore the dad's catchphrase activates the cannon, which means that I'm assuming the mother may have had something to do with that she used
Probably
it as a
set it up or
password or
something,
something, and everybody's like, "Aww," and the end. Everything worked out, the Death Eye is destroyed, and everything goes relatively back to normal, except for Dad and Steven, who have to go fish their mystery van out of the ocean. There!
Well done, Edmund. I used my Blackadder quote for you.
Did I miss anything?
Well, you missed the part about the pork chop, but yeah.
Oh my God.
But I was there to save you from that. No, this is...
You're a dick.
Much like Adventure Time, this show starts off not explaining a goddamn thing. Just starts off right in the middle.
That's not entirely true. Once I found out that his mother was a magical woman who bonked his dad, a lot made sense, at least suddenly. I'm like, okay,
But
I
you
have
know
some
what-
idea this how these things are connected.
No, but you know what I'm talking about. This must just
Oh no,
be
this
a thing
isn't
now.
This isn't a pilot. This is like it reminds me of animes do this a lot, but
Yeah.
even like anime, there would be a little more explaining going on. They would dump you into the middle of a plot point, a story already in progress, but there would be more kind of hilarious exposition, like, do you not know that I was taught my ancient family technique using this, and did you not know that this person is like, it would somehow be delivered somehow in the context of the story, and then we got a couple things,
But yeah, no, they were slipped in so, for the most part, subtly. I mean, some are a little obvious, but to a point where it's like, if you didn't tell me this was the first episode of something, I would never guess it was the first episode of something.
And yet I watched the whole thing and couldn't tear my eyes away.
But before we go any further, I should say my background, what little I have with Steven Universe as well. I've only seen a handful of episodes, and we'll kind of get to those when we get to those. But yeah, so I have some idea, the bare essentials, that there's like these 3, I think, alien women who are with, Steven Universe. They all have gems in them. They're some sort of magical gems.
So I have no
They're-
idea yet if they're alien or cosmic or
I think they're
supernatural.
aliens, but they're with Steven, and I think the mother was either one of them or was like their leader or something.
that's all I could get out of it.
And now they're with Steven because Steven again has that jewel, and they either feel they have to protect him or he can help protect them as well, and they can work off each other, and they're on this place on Earth, this beach city. So that's about the majority of what I know. And I honestly, I'm not even sure I would get all that if I didn't see those episodes. Like, I'm so wondering how lost I would be if I was dumped in the middle of this.
Got it.
I see. Here's the thing. A part of me really respects the hell out of shows that just start off almost not explaining a thing. They just dump you right in the middle, because it's really ballsy to do. It is so against convention, And some more shows are starting to do it.
In this country, it is.
Well, and
It's not as much in some other countries.
No, I mean, Adventure Time did the same thing. Adventure Time didn't explain a thing. It just dumped you right in the middle of an episode that could be confused for any other episode. And this one kind of does the same thing. I mean, it's not something where it's like, Steven! He turns around and reveals himself. That is Steven. It doesn't take it slow. I mean, it just tosses you right in. I'm trying to remember if we even got all the characters' names in this one. I'm sure they did, but they do not hammer it in. It's not like a curtain call or an introduction or anything. It's just right in the middle of it. And part of me really respects the hell out of it, but for my adult mind that finds it hard to follow a lot of this stuff, I'm just like, I hate this stuff, but I know it's good. It just drives me nuts.
Here's the only reason it bothers me.
But that's my issue because I have a bad memory.
The only reason it bothers me is because we have to do these vlogs, which means that if for some reason we blink and we miss it, the entire internet will be like, honestly, if I'm just watching this for my own amusement and not for doing a vlog, fine first episode by me. I would keep watching because I was like mesmerized. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Something that it captures very early, because I'm trying to think if I was a kid or either a kid or adult watching this first episode, would I come back to it? And I'm thinking to myself, because when you don't start off the traditional way with the introductions and stuff, I mean, it's like, it just automatically confuses you, and confusion usually is not the best way to start off a show. You want them to get very quick so you can get invested.
How many times have you ever seen... Okay.
Well, hold on, you did let me finish.
Okay.
I was going to say that I probably, not like I need to see the next one, but I probably would tune in again because A, it did start off like that, and that's just so strange, and B, there was sort of this, even though a lot of chaos was happening with this eye that's going to hit the ground and the color scheme changes and everything, and the world's going to end, whatever, there's still kind of this laid-back tone that was kind of charming and endearing, and I don't really see that much when the end of the world is going to happen. And it's sort of this, even the opening scene, very laid back. It's sort of a mellow song, like, crystal gems, da-da-da, a little bit of a beat, but very quiet.
Do that again.
Crystal
that was
gems.
beautiful.
Might go like this.
Do that again. There you
go. But yeah, it's one of those where it's like, I would be a little curious, but not like, oh, I gotta see the next episode. But it is just odd enough and so uniquely designed, even by shows today, because we're kind of seeing these more simplistic designs and these simple shades.
No, but it's a throwback. That is like
the colors. The colors are a real throwback. The shapes. Oh, sorry, she's definitely.
The
like
background
70s.
layout and
yeah, I mean she's definitely 70s, but and maybe a little with like the curly hair and the star, but
this is
what
like
I mean with sort of those designs. That's Gravity Falls and that's sort of Adventure Time and stuff. But the colors.
I see
are very
I see old
70s.
school anime. I see old school anime in that a lot.
How do I put it? Everything else, like look at the rest of the.
I'm
design.
not saying
look
that's
at the
a bad
lines
thing.
and stuff and the colors. Like that's all 70s and early 80s.
Well, they have their own stylistic, they have their own style too, but when I look at it, I see like old school 70s, 80s anime. Like no question about it.
Well, and even like just the advertising in the 70s and 80s. I mean, couldn't you see this like advertising like a cassette?
It's got all the colors. That's what I love about it. I mean, the art design on this show is amazing.
Well, what I was gonna say is that what I like is that you can see the silhouette of any of them and know who they are. I like that. I really like a show that can do that. Any character design, and I also like
that. But look, all three. How many characters? 5. All 5 characters so far. The other thing I like are all different ages, races, and body types.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Oh,
Not in an obvious way where it's like freaking Captain Planet or we're trying to be like all PC about it. Like it's not even mentioned. It's just organically sort of just.
Well, you can go more over the top with the
into
designs
the plot.
and have them leave a bigger impact on you, because you can have like the really big eyes and the big mouths and
but
the
you
big
got
bellies and the hair and
the
stuff.
middle-aged dad. He's sort of a roly-poly kid.
Yeah.
She's like a larger woman. Like she's like kind of muscle-bound. She's like a twig.
Thin,
it's like literally in the heights too.
Yeah, different heights and everything.
Like I'm just like. I'm used to in a lot of cartoons like having a generic design, and I'm like I like this show. They come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah,
it's,
no, I
it's
like that
actually
too.
more interesting to watch.
And the big thing
and
for me,
accents, I should add.
Yeah.
Because she's got, I can't quite figure it out yet, but the black woman has like it sounds British.
I don't
but
think
a very-
I was almost gonna say like Jamaican, almost.
Yeah, like, but let me.
we didn't hear her talk much in this one.
How do
so
I
I'm not
put this?
Sure.
Like colonial, like island sort of, like either colonial island sort of accent or some sort of like offshoot of British. But
Where's Storm from X-Men? Do you remember?
Oh, Storm? I thought she was African.
Wait,
Wasn't
was it
she?
Africa? I thought it was, or like maybe South Africa or something. I don't remember. It has a touch of that. We don't know the accent, but it's definitely an accent. We know that. And but what I was gonna say, the colors in this is what jumps out at me the most because it's a color scheme I really have not seen since like. Since I was
Early
a
80s.
little kid.
Yeah.
I was saying
the last time I saw any of this was watching cartoons when I was probably 4 years old.
For me, not even that. I was gonna say like looking in my phonics book.
Well,
when
that's
I was
because it went the two tones
second
with
grade.
the sort of the light orange
Yeah, when
and
the
white,
eyes
and I'm
get
just like, yeah,
closer.
that looked. With the second you said that, I laughed. I'm like, it's totally like the phonics books we had in the '80s.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of like when we were growing up in kindergarten and stuff like that. Like these were kind of like the colors you saw in all the advertising and in the books because when you print books back then,
the
like paper
workbooks
books,
have
you
this
would
very
only
simple color.
yeah you'd
scheme.
usually have one color in the whole books. You'd have
Yeah.
to do like various shades
You had
of that
two
color, or
colors.
maybe two.
You had your
Yeah.
white paper, your black ink, and then it would be like it would just be one other color, and it was normally like sort of a
Pastel orange.
Yeah,
or
it was
green or
either
something.
a sort of light orange, yellow, pink, or gray. It was always one of those four colors.
Yeah. So with that whole scene where the eye is getting closer and it goes that color tone, I'm like, this is
Loved
very
that scene.
surreal. I have not
Yeah.
seen this in a long time. And very unique, even though, like I said, I'm kind of more partial to like, the colors being a touch more vibrant or a blue tint or something like that. It is so different and so jarring and so just engulfs itself in it. I really loved it. And then when it goes back to sort of the other normal colors, when the eye leaves, it's like, they seem a little bit more vibrant because of that. But yeah, everything about it has kind of I don't usually say it's like a delightfully faded look. Like, that's just kind of the tone it's going for. Like, the lines are very strong, the colors are very strong, but it's still, you know what I mean, with the actual
I think
color
it helps.
palette
The
itself,
show
it looks a
look-
little faded.
The backgrounds look like they were hand painted, but
You think so?
yeah, but everything's digital now, so I'm wondering if that was just a
I was
stylistic
gonna say, I mean, it
choice
looked-
to make it look. There were parts of those backgrounds that looked watercolor to me, but I'm sure now digitals we're at the point where you can just
Yeah.
fake that.
Uh,
But it had that faded watercolor quality to it. And I thought it was gorgeous.
I'd have to look at it again. I remember more of the black.
That's
lines.
actually the weirdest thing about this show. The thing I love is, and I'd be very interested. Not knowing anything about this, I'll probably read up on it after we're done with all the vlogs. But I'd be interested to know the creator's backstory on this, if they're our age or older, and
It'd be weird if they were younger.
yeah, and remember this style of artwork because you want to talk about it's the nostalgia critic thing. Like, this is really nostalgic somehow. I'm like flashing back to like
some of these.
even old. I remember like when the ice cream truck would pass by, the old ads for like the rocket
Yeah,
pops and stuff.
the
all
colors
had
were
this,
all kind of
yeah,
like
color
this,
scheme
yeah.
and design, and yeah, it's weird. It's giving me like acid flashbacks to when I was like 5 years old.
It hits a kind of nostalgia that I think back then was, nowadays is seen as kind of ugly, but it's like, it feels like they cleaned it up and made it very vibrant again.
Well, when you do things as an homage, you are taking the best
Yeah.
of it. Because
a lot of people have done this for a while, like
No,
Gravity
when I-
Falls, obviously, with some of the fantasies and stuff, but this one
Well,
seems really immersed in it.
Well, when
in
I
the stuff they
watch
miss.
like movies from the 70s or see old ads or see vintage 70 things, it's like, I mean, we're saying, oh, this is awesome, but there was a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there are color schemes and combinations that I was like, who thought this was a good idea? But this seems to be taking the best of it, which is a lot of fun.
But even if you were to tell me, like, the whole climax of this is going to have this peach color to it, I say that sounds awful. That sounds like it would be disgusting. It looked like vomit. It looked terrible. But they pull it off, and they really make it stand out. through both the line work and the various
just
colors of peach that they
The
choose.
only way I can describe it is it's just groovy.
Yeah.
Like, I was just watching the whole ending, and like when the color scheme was switching up, I just wanted to sit there and go, groovy. You know, that's all I can say about it. Your point though earlier about like, well, if it starts off like this, it doesn't explain much. Would I still like this as a kid? How many? Because I watched the same stuff you did. How many cartoons when we were kids in the 80s and through the early 90s did we
Actually see from the
ever,
beginning.
ever fucking see from the beginning? I can think of one.
No, I'm thinking...
Maybe two.
No, I'm thinking nowadays, though, because, you know, everything is immediate access to kids, and there's so much available everywhere that you
bullshit.
gotta
When
get
we-
them quick, and they can see this stuff from the beginning.
We have nieces and nephews, and we have friends with kids, and let me tell you something, they'll just watch any fucking cartoon that's on. They're not gonna sit there and go, well, it's not from the beginning.
Well,
I
no,
don't think I
but
can-"
this... Okay, I know the show gets more of, like, an epic feel as it goes along, and, you know, and it sounds like they work up to it. It's
So
interesting that... No, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying it's interesting that for a show that wants to build up to this, you know, these epic episodes, they start off right in the middle, not explaining a great deal like most traditional shows do. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that from a marketing standpoint, it's interesting they would go that route, and maybe that's just the route other shows are
All I
doing.
can say
now.
is when I was growing up, we had this show called Mysterious Cities of Gold. And it was fucking amazing. Searching for the cities of gold. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. It was a great show, and it was epic, and it had a complicated, detailed story. There were some filler episodes, but you were watching a continual story. I think once I saw the first episode.
I
to
never
that,
saw the first episode.
I saw the first episode,
and I did like this show.
2 years after I started watching it as a kid. Like, and even then I never knew how it ended. I still don't know how it ended. I'm gonna have to like torrent it or something or go find it, see if they're selling it anywhere to figure out how it ended. I still watched it, and I still watch it in reruns. Like, it's not gonna matter to a kid how it starts. You know, they'll watch it.
The more I think about it,
And
maybe
we did the same thing with the only one I can think of that we ever watched from the beginning too. We did catch Batman, the animated series. when it
DuckTales we
started,
watched from the
and
beginning.
DuckTales.
Yeah.
Those are the only two we caught from.
No,
the beginning.
you know what? Maybe that's exactly why they do it. They do it because they know when you see a first episode, it's going to be, oh, this is the first episode. I already know the characters. I don't need to blah, blah, blah. Maybe they know it's like if you catch it in the middle or feel like you're catching it in the middle, it's like, oh, I got to catch up. I got to watch this.
But not only that, what our first episode... Think about DuckTales. Think about all of the cartoons we watched growing up. What are normally the first episode? It's an exposition dump.
Yeah.
It is a giant plot dump. And there is something I appreciate about animes in that they tend to dump you in the middle of the story and then start feeding you exposition over the course of that episode, but then the next few episodes. And I think this one, it helps because we've learned one important thing, a few maybe important things, but the only one that was major is who his mother is.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're a kid watching this cartoon, particularly in little 15-minute, like, snippets, you get more information fed to you as you go on. So it's more interesting to watch successive episodes instead of going, oh, well, this is just a filler episode where, you know, something... Now, maybe that'll happen. I don't know. Because we're only in episode 1, but...
No, the funny thing is, actually, now that you mention it, whenever I look back at episodes I remember watching as a kid, when I saw the, you know, usually I would somehow see the first episode, whatever, if you need to see, but then when it was like rewatch value, the first episode I'd usually skip.
Yeah, because it's like, it tells
so maybe
you,
that's the strategy.
It tells you everything at once,
Everything we
and
already
everything
know,
you already
and-
know, and
yeah.
So
I
I
think
mean,
that's part of it.
I generally think, and I didn't realize that shows even did this until I started watching anime, you know, over 15 years ago, like that. This is another way to do it, and I appreciate it, actually, generally speaking, more than most cartoon pilots in America. So if they're doing this now, if this is becoming the new norm, don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, no, I think just from my standpoint, because
And I don't think kids will either, since you're speaking
well, no,
for
they
them all
clearly
now.
don't. It's a show that's a hit. But no, as someone that, like you said, has to do a vlog series and doesn't have the best memory of this stuff, that's the only part that drives me nuts about it.
It sucks for us.
Yeah, for us. But as an artistic way of doing it, it's fine, and it's different.
Because most of the time, if I'm watching a show, I won't sit here and freak out about remembering things. I'll just go on to the next episode.
Yeah, but I was like, shit!
If I forget it, I forget it. I'll go look it up online at some other point, and but here it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, good start. I mean, it's not something like, where it's like, genius, but what show starts off with that exactly? Very few. So, yeah, eager to get to the next one, and we will see you at that next one.